The air in our living room hung thick, like the moment before a storm breaks. I stood frozen, my phone slipping from my fingers, its screen still glowing with a message that shattered everything. I can't keep pretending. I love you, and I know you feel it too. It was from Ethan, my best friend since college, the man I'd laughed off as harmless when my husband, Mark, bristled at our late-night texts. Now, those words burned into my retinas, and Mark's silhouette loomed in the doorway, his suitcase half-zipped on the floor. "You saw it," he said, not a question. His voice was low, raw, like gravel underfoot. I opened my mouth, but no sound came. My heart pounded, a traitor racing in my chest, guilty not of love but of blindness. It started innocently, or so I told myself. Ethan and I had always been close, bonded over bad coffee and late-night study sessions a decade ago. He was a brother I never had, the one who got my sarcasm, who remembered my favorite songs. When Mark and I married, Ethan stayed in my life, a constant I never questioned. Mark, though, noticed things I didn't. The way Ethan's hugs lingered, how his texts arrived just as I climbed into bed. His just friendly. I'd snap, rolling my eyes when Mark's jaw tightened. "You're being paranoid." But the signs were there, small as whispers. Ethan's hand brushing mine at the cafe, his gaze holding mine a beat too long. I'd laugh it off, chalk it up to nostalgia, but doubt crept in like damp rot. I'd catch myself hesitating before replying to his messages, wondering if my jokes were too warm, too familiar. Still, I pushed the thoughts away. Ethan was safe. He was Ethan. Last week, Mark's silence grew heavier. He'd watch me type, his eyes sharp with something I couldn't name. Hurt, maybe, or resignation. "You're always on that phone," he muttered once, his voice tight. I brushed it off, teasing him about jealousy, but his laugh was hollow, a sound that echoed in my gut long after. Tonight, everything unraveled. We'd argued again. Nothing new, just the same tired dance about Ethan. I'd stormed to the couch, scrolling through messages to prove Mark wrong, to prove Ethan was just a friend. Then I saw it. The text Ethan sent an hour ago, unguarded and reckless, a confession that tore through my defenses. My stomach churned, acid rising as I realized how naive I'd been. Not because I loved Ethan, I didn't, but because I'd let him blur lines I swore were solid. Mark's voice cut through the haze. "I told you," he said, stepping closer. His eyes were red, not from tears but from exhaustion, the kind that comes from carrying a truth too heavy to share. "I told you he wanted more, and you laughed at me." His words stung, each one a needle piercing my pride. I wanted to scream that I hadn't known, that I hadn't meant for this, but the betrayal wasn't just Ethan's. It was mine, too, for ignoring the warnings, for dismissing Mark's pain. I didn't. I started, but he held up a hand, silencing me. "I can't do this anymore," he said, zipping the suitcase with finality that stole my breath. "I love you, but I can't keep begging you to see what's right in front of you." He turned toward the door, and panic clawed at my throat. I grabbed his arm, my fingers trembling against the rough fabric of his jacket. "Wait," I whispered, my voice breaking. "Please." But his eyes held a truth I couldn't unsee. He wasn't leaving because of Ethan's confession. He was leaving because I'd chosen to ignore his fears, to mock his instincts, to let someone else's words erode the trust we'd built. The door clicked shut behind him, and the silence screamed louder than I ever could. On the coffee table, my phone buzzed again, another message from Ethan. I didn't read it. Instead, I sank to the floor, the CA,